ClawdBot, MoltBot OpenClaw. Have you heard of this? It's been sweeping the internet, or at least in certain AI circles, over the last week or two. Like, what's happened is nuts, and that's what I want to talk to you about in this video. It's a rare video that I'm actually in the daytime on YouTube. I can't remember the last time I made a daytime video, but here I am on my balcony in the daytime. It's a bit cloudy, a bit hazy, it's very early, so I'm not red hot, so it seems appropriate for me to make a video here. So let me tell you what's gone on, right? I actually thought at some point this is the closest thing to AGI as we've seen so far, and that is ClawdBot, not Anthropic's Claude. Don't get confused with the LLM, it's not that. And then it changed its name to MoltBot, and then it changed its name to OpenClaw. So let me tell you what this is first. So I saw this hype exploding, especially on Twitter or X, but there was hype exploding online about people buying Mac Minis. They're small, essentially Apple Macs. You can get them for about, I think they're maybe $600 for entry level one, about £500. And it's a little computer. It doesn't come with a keyboard. It doesn't come with a mouse. It comes with a power cable. It doesn't even come with a cable to plug it into a monitor or your TV. It's literally a box with a power cable, but it's a Mac. It's got the Mac operating system on it and all that stuff. And people were hyping about getting this little box and then loading this thing onto it called ClawdBot. And this ClawdBot was meant to be like next level AI automation and all this stuff. So I thought, all right, I'm gonna have a look at this, because people were really hyping it. I don't mean a little bit of hype, I mean a lot of hype. Now they started, you know how these things go, spiked hype, everyone going nuts about it, and it makes you notice it, like, what is this? Is this just hype? And then you just see waves of it coming in, people trying it, waves of it, and it's like, okay, maybe this is a thing, I better try it. I'm trying to be at the forefront of the AI space, at least trying to be. I mean, this thing moves so fast, I don't think you can be. And that's all you do is make content about what's new in AI, which is the thing, there's a lot of people making good money out of just talking about new AI advancements, because it's daily. Like daily, there can be multiple things you could talk about if you were doing that. And you see these accounts on Twitter, not on Twitter, on TikTok, and they come across very authoritatively, but all they're doing is looking around and going, oh, that's new, I'll make a video about it. That's new, I'll make a video about it. But they've got no deep knowledge on any of the things, because if you were trying to get deep knowledge on everything, well, it moves too fast. So when I say trying to stay at the forefront of AI, you've got to kind of pick a slither of it and dig in and stay there for a while. That's my opinion. And for me, that is AI SaaS. So software as a service, because over the last 8 years, I've made $12 million in my spare time. If I've not done anything for years, it's ran itself basically. Years, maybe over 5 years, I've not really done anything on that business, but I made over $12 million selling software as a service. And as of about last year, you can now use AI to build software as a service. So it makes sense that I built software as a service businesses as a non-technical founder. So I'm not a coder, I don't know a line of code. And I've built software as a service businesses paying for devs, and now you don't have to pay for devs, you can use AI. That feels like a slither of a niche that's appropriate to me. And I picked that maybe middle of last year, and that's what I've been talking about on this YouTube channel. You can follow along on my journey. I've not been, oh, let's talk about this because it's hype. I'll talk about this because it's hype. I've just stuck in that lane because, like I say, you can't go to any depth in anything if you're just skipping around AI. It moves too fast. And you get AI fatigue as well. You're almost like, I'm tired of this new stuff always coming out. Like, and so for me, it was all about figuring out how do I build SaaS businesses with AI, and more so, how do I help other people build SaaS businesses with AI. So that's all I've been doing. But on this journey, as I mentor people and I see what their sticking points are, pretty much 99% of my mentees and students that I've taken through a process of building AI SaaS businesses so far have very much been, they've got to grips, not all, but most of them have got to grips with the build process. It's that easy. It's the building a business, not building the software product. That's the hard bit, right? And it's the bit I'm good at. So it's like I've been teaching and working with these mentees, students, clients, whatever you want to call them, for the last few months, and I'm seeing the sticking points. And the beauty of them being, me being their mentor is those sticking points keep me awake at night. And I go, how do I solve this problem for these people? Non-entrepreneurial, non-techie, like non-business people. How do I make it as close as possible to press a button and you make money? Because that's what everybody actually wants. They talk about freedom. There's obviously other motivations. Maybe they want to retire their partner. Maybe they want to go on more vacations, whatever. There's other deeper reasons, but essentially they want a big button to push to make money. Now, there's no such thing, right? And anybody selling such a thing is selling you nonsense, which is why a lot of these real easy to get into things do really well in the kind of high ticket coaching space, like trading. If you're a good trader, great. I'm sure you can make a lot of money, but most people lose money in trading. But it's the closest thing to pushing a button and getting rich, right? Trading, what, I sit at a computer, and then when the software tells me to buy, I buy. If it buys, and when I sell, that's what people want. They want a button to push. Now, real legitimate entrepreneurial types and honest people like myself know there's no button you can push. There's no button you can just push to get rich. And anybody selling that is a liar. But that's what everybody wants. Nobody wants the slog and the grind and the difficulties and the ups and downs and the roller coaster, or some people do, but most people don't. Most people don't want the pain of setting up a business. They just want to press a button and get rich so they can get those secondary objectives achieved, or their actual deep desires achieved, which is freedom and all that stuff. So it keeps me awake at night when my mentees and students and clients are able to build software so easy with AI, which is mind-blowing. They've only been able to do it over the last year. They can build software so easy, and I can help them with the positioning, like go B2B rather than B2C. If your goal is making money, go B2B. It's going to be easier. Business to business, it's going to be easier. Pick a micro niche with 3 to 5 competitors in there. You don't want to be the first one, ideally. Don't try and come up with $1 billion idea. It's not going to happen. And even if you get the idea, you're not going to be able to implement and execute as fast or as well as somebody else that's going to copy your idea, but they've got access to $100 million and a team of 1,000 sharks to build it, and like from a business point of view and a sales point of view and all that. Coming up with $1 billion idea, whilst it's not impossible, it's not optimal if your goal is, I want that freedom and I want to build a business that cash flows me so I can live a life of my dreams kind of thing. No, you want to go into a micro niche of 3 to 5 competitors. It can be 7, it can be 9, it can be 1, that's cool, but you don't want to be the first ones through the door, in my opinion, right? And then you can build this thing in a space whereby you know there's validated demand, right? So that's what I encourage. And my mentees, students, clients are building software as a service products or software products from scratch using AI, and it's mind-blowing. But then when you go, okay, right now the journey starts here, you've got a software product to sell, amazing, and we've positioned it right. We've got the right pricing, we've got the right sales process, we've got the right niche, we're solving the right problem, we've got the right feature set, we've got the right USP. We've come up with that between us, and it's a rock solid plan, and they've built a software product. Now what? They all want a big button to push, right? And I want to give them a button to push. It keeps me awake at night that I can't make this push button simple for them, because they so enjoy the build process and the creative process of building the product, and then all of them go, ugh, oh, this business building's painful. It is painful, and it's a whole lot more painful without me. But I tell you right now, I've got a bunch of clients, students, mentees now making money, which is amazing. So that's great. And they're all starting to get that traction. Like SaaS isn't, unless you've got an audience or access to an audience, most people aren't going to build a SaaS product and then launch it to 1,000 people and start making $50,000 a month overnight. That's not reality. For most people, it's going to be a slow grind. Unless you can get access to an audience, or you have an audience, or a customer base, then it's going to be overnight success. You're going to look like a wizard with my guidance. You've got an audience or access to an audience that know, like, and trust you, or the audience owner can transfer that know, like, and trust and that revere onto you. If you could do that, and I could do that very well, if you've got access to an audience or you have an audience, I am your man. I am your man. We like taking candy off babies, trust me, and in not a negative way. Like, it's very easy to launch a business like that, but for most people, they're going to go, right, I've built this software product, I've got the sales letter in place, I've made all the right decisions with my guidance, and then they go, now what? So I'm trying to find them a button, because when I tell them, do this, do that, do this, if it's not push button easy, and if the AI don't do it, some of them do it, some of them don't do it. Some of them are reluctant to do it, and they might do it a little bit if I proper nudge them, but it feels a little bit like, often, not with everybody, but with some of my clients, it feels a little bit like I'm having to drag them through quicksand a little bit. It's like, because they enjoyed the process of building the software, that's creative, it's fun, it's addictive, it's actually great, it's really fun, most of it. I mean, the reality is, 80% of the app is done in 20% of the time, and then the last 20% takes 80% of the time, which is what I'm seeing right now, because I'm actually building an app which I'm launching next week. I'll launch it on the channel, and that is the last 20% has taken 80% of the time, really, which is why I'm not launching this week, because I've missed my window. You don't launch products on a Friday, not that it's quite ready anyway, and it's Saturday now, so like next week, I'm saying next week, I'm pretty sure it'll be done next week. So I'll be launching that next week. But the process of building the app is fun. The process of building the business I find fun, because it's like a complicated puzzle, and you're trying to find the different pieces, and then all of a sudden you do something. Maybe you've done 5 things and nothing felt like it worked, but I know as a business owner that's what it takes. And click, it just goes into place, and you're like, ooh, you get a trickle. Ooh, and you're not even sure if it was that click or a click you did 3 things ago that started the trickle, but there's a trickle. And then the trickle, you keep clicking, solving problems, fixing things, taking action, executing, and then all of a sudden you've got this thing, and then a couple of bits have clicked, 2 or 3 bits have clicked, and that trickle becomes a bit of a river. And then you click in some more, and then all of a sudden it becomes like a crazy tsunami. Like, oh, that's the plan, that's the hope. But even if it just becomes a trickle, well, a trickle of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 signups a day can very quickly become a very nice business in the SaaS space, because of the compounding effect of recurring revenue. So anyway, back to what I was saying, everybody wants a push button solution, and I want to give them a push button solution. I want to create an option whereby they can press a button and then they just get clients. Now, right now, that's fantasy. It doesn't happen. But this keeps me awake at night, because I'm their mentor. I know that if I could go, right, you've built your app, just press this button. Even if I charge them to press the button, this button will give you customers. That is the ultimate. For any business owner and any entrepreneur, they'll tell you that the ultimate offer is press this button and you'll get clients or customers, right? Everybody wants that. They don't want promises. They just want to press the button and see the customers come. So obviously that's, in 25 years of business, that's been a fantasy. That's not a thing. You can turn ads on, but like anybody that just thinks, oh yeah, I'll just turn ads on. Well, ads aren't easy. Ads out of the box will probably lose you money, right? Now that's not to say if you spend 6 months figuring out some ad campaign and or get lucky, then you can't start printing money with paid ads. You can, but it's not a matter of, oh, just turn ads on and then make money. That's fantasy. None of this business stuff is that easy, but I'm trying to make it easy. So anyway, brings me back to, you're probably like, well, how have you talked for 14 minutes when you mentioned ClawdBot, MoltBot, OpenClaw at the beginning? How have you talked for 14 minutes and not even mentioned the things that you started talking about at the beginning? Well, I'm getting there, right? So in my pursuit for a push button solution to acquiring customers for my mentees and my clients and my students, because that is the goal, that is my goal, I'm trying to achieve that. Behind the scenes, behind what you see me do, for no money, I am basically an R&D department, research and development department on AI for acquiring customers, and not just AI, systems, just easy, repeatable systems that we can either outsource to a VA, they can do themselves, or we can use AI to do it. And that is what I am spending probably 80% of my brain power trying to achieve. Push this button, get customers for my clients. If we can do that, then all of these people will make very good money without having to have any of the headache of the business part. As of right now, they're gonna have to grind. That's business. It's always been business, but we're getting closer, I think, to little slivers of these puzzles being fixed by a push button solution, and that's what I'm working towards. Which led me down the rabbit hole of, this ClawdBot thing, which is an AI agent that can spin up AI sub-agents on a little Mac Mini, and you don't need a Mac Mini. Before you're going wild in the comments, you can spin them up in instances online. And I did go in with the hype. I liked the idea of buying a little Mac. I wanted one. So yeah, all right, partially it's like, I'm an Apple junkie. Give me an excuse to buy a computer, I'll buy one. I'm very restrained. I'm running a 2019 MacBook Pro and a 2020 MacBook Pro as my main computers. I'm very restrained in that way. But it's like, all right, I'll buy a little Mac Mini. I don't think I bought one of these before. I'll have one. So it's sat next to my TV, and I load this AI agent on it, ClawdBot, MoltBot OpenClaw now. I'll tell you why I keep saying that. And on it is some software that Peter, I think his name's Steinberger or something like that, has made. And the onboarding process of me firing that little box up and putting OpenClaw on there, or ClawdBot on there, felt magical. Now, I must say, now it doesn't feel magical. But when it first fired up and I first did the onboarding sequence, it felt like, oh my God, the future is here. Just the way it works. And it's probably beyond the scope of this video to talk about that now, but maybe I'll make a follow-up video in a second. But like magical how it felt. It doesn't feel like that now, but what does it do? So you can essentially spin up agents 24/7. So it's on now, it's just on, right? And I don't have to log into anything, it's just on. And if I weren't filming on my phone, I could show you my WhatsApp, and I can voice note to my WhatsApp, or I can type, whatever, and you can turn dictation on your phone, or you can use Whisper Flow, and I can voice note to it, and it responds to my WhatsApp. But it can spin up AI agents to control that computer from my phone. So I could be anywhere, and it's like having an AI agent workforce ready to respond to my commands when I tell it on my phone. But not only that, I can get it to schedule or even just repeat tasks. So it's got something called the Heartbeat MD file, and essentially there's a bunch of things like soul.md. There's a bunch of things that makes it very special. But what it can do is it can control that computer. It can control my browser. It can have skills, and it can self-learn. So for example, when I first tried talking to it, it couldn't understand my voice. It figured it out itself. It's like, I just need to download this thing. I didn't load an API. I didn't sign up to some AI service to give it that. It downloaded a free voice toolkit, if you like, onto the Mac Mini, and because it knew I wanted to talk to it, it installed it itself, and then it had a voice and it's talking back to me. It didn't come with that out of the box. It did that because it knew that's what I wanted, and it was like, oh, this is mind-blowing. Now, the more you use it, the more you feel its flaws, and the more, if you don't have a use case for it, the more you'll feel like it's hype. But if you're like me, looking for a push-button solution to automating a business problem, which in my case is, I want to give my mentees and clients a push-button solution to acquire AI SaaS clients, right? Customers for their SaaS they've built. That's my use case, right? Now, it just so happens I've gone off-piste and realizing the power of this thing, and I could use it for this, I could use it for that, and you can use it for this. And maybe I'll make a follow-up video to this in a minute, and it talks more about that. And in fact, I probably will. I will. And I'll probably schedule that for tomorrow or something like that. So you look out for that video. If you've come this far, look out for that video. But essentially, I'm trying to create solutions for my mentees and clients that acquire customers on autopilot. Well, a 24/7 bot that can spin up sub-agents on demand and can schedule things and can self-learn and learns about me and my goals. And I can even say to it, look, every night at 3 a.m., I want you to go build some software that makes my goals, gets me closer to my goals. And every night at 3 a.m., it will start building some software that gets me closer to my goals because it understands my goals and it understands what I'm trying to achieve. Do I look like I've got gyno? I look like I've got boobies. It's this blooming light. I'm in a wrinkly t-shirt because I am done. I am over ironing stuff. I am over ironing stuff. I'm not ironing stuff. I'm not doing it. I mean, I'll iron the odd thing, but just going for coffee with friends this morning. Not coffee, for breakfast with friends this morning. So, yeah, I'm going wrinkly. And I'm here on making a video. So yeah, anyway, I don't want to bang on about it too much, but there's a hype around this ClawdBot. And I can tell you right now, most of it's hype, but underlying the hype is something very special that's happened. And like I say, it's called MoltBot, then it's called OpenClaw. It's changed the names. Long story short, it was called ClawdBot, but spelt Claw. And Anthropic Claude said, you can't call it that. So it changed its name to MoltBot, which is the worst name on the planet. And the internet went mad. Oh, I'm not going to call it MoltBot. That's a terrible name. Worst name ever. I'm going to still call it ClawdBot. But they got a cease and desist, so they had to change the name. And then fast forward a couple of days later, he's like, no, it's now called OpenClaw, which is a better name, but everyone's still calling it ClawdBot. And it still calls itself ClawdBot. I don't think they've updated it, or maybe mine's not updated or something, but it still says ClawdBot on it. So anyway, whatever you're calling it, it exploded with hype. And if you have no use case, then it's probably not going to be that amazing to you. But if you have a use case and the thought of an always-on autonomous AI agent that is quite smart, you know, and can get better itself and is meant to have a persistent memory, but it doesn't, and it learns about you, that's quite a compelling proposition. When it can operate your computer and do stuff and spin up sub-agents on demand, either on a scheduled basis or on a heartbeat basis, so every now and again it just does it, or through your phone. It's quite smart, and it's worthy of the hype. People are trying to bash it, but it's worthy of the hype if you have a use case and you think, yeah, that could be really helpful, which I'm going to make another video on that actually. So yeah, to summarize, ClawdBot, MoltBot, OpenClaw is now a thing. If you have a use case, it's well worth checking out. You don't need a Mac Mini to spin them up, but there is benefits to having a Mac Mini that a lot of people aren't understanding, and most of that is if you're deeply in the Mac or Apple ecosystem, which I am. I've got iPhone, I've got MacBook Pro. I use their essentially shared cloud services like Apple Notes, iCalendar or Apple Calendar or whatever they call it. You know, I'm entrenched in Apple, so having it on a Mac Mini may have some advantages for you. It does for me. But in most cases, you can spin it up for cheap and a free AWS instance server. So you could try it. What you don't want to do, just as a little caveat, don't put it on your computer. Don't put it on your open computer, because you are probably giving too much power to it. Because it can control your computer, it can do everything you can do. You know. So anyway, it's been good to make a video. 21 day challenge is coming out next week. What is the 21-day challenge? It is where I've built an app using the methods I teach. So using Claude Code and Replit, which is a beautiful power combo. A lot of people are like, oh, I might just use Cursor and this. I might use this and this. You use what you want. I'll tell you right now, a whole bunch of times since I started using Replit and Claude Code, I've been really happy that I picked that combo and dug my heels in and made sure that most of my students did too. The ones that went off piste and did their own thing, I've had conversations with them and they're like, oh, oh, it's broken. I don't know how to fix it. Yeah, because you didn't listen to Daddy Matt. Listen to Daddy Matt. Daddy Matt won't send you the wrong direction. Daddy Matt will send you the right direction. So they're all like frustrated, scratching their heads. And the ones that listen to me, they're all having a great time. But it's tempting. People are saying, oh, this is good, this is good. I get it, you gotta pick your poison. My poison is Claude Code and Replit. So the 21-day challenge is for people that want to build a cash flowing passive business, but it doesn't talk about the business side of it. It talks about building the product. So the idea is you do a micro task every day, tiny task. It could take you 2 minutes. AI does most of it. Or it could take you 30 minutes. But each day for 21 days, you make a promise to yourself that I'm going to do the task. I'm going to follow along with the process that Matt's put out in front of me. And I teach you the lesson and I give you an interactive element and all the prompts and everything you need. And oftentimes the actual software, because it's an app, does the thing for you. So you don't even need a prompt. You just press generate, or you give it a little bit of input, press generate, and it does it for you. So I've built that using the methods I'm teaching in that, right? So using the 21-day AI SAAS challenge methods, I've built an app that is a 21-day challenge, that daily micro tasks that lead you from no idea, no clue, through to I have a product to sell. It doesn't cover I am building a business. If you get to the end of it and you've got a software product, then my thoughts are you're going to go, okay, now what? Well, now you need to book a call with me so I can take you through the process of building a business, or at least figure out if you've made the right decisions in the 21-day challenge. Hopefully you have, if you followed along. Have you made the right decisions? Is there some things we have to pivot and tweak to be able to build a business? But essentially, you go through the 21-day challenge, and 21 days later or soon thereafter, because you can pause a challenge in the build phase. If you want to take a month, you can take a month. If you want to take 2 months, take 2 months. Whatever you want to do. But at the end of the 21 days, you'll have a product to sell. That's the plan. It's going to need a few tweaks, but that's when you book a readiness call with me at the end of that challenge, and we talk about how we go from building a product to building a business. So that's what the 21-day challenge is. It's an app that takes you step by step, day by day, micro tasks to building a software as a service product with a focus on it being a future business. And by the 21-day point, you could have a product you could sell for recurring revenue, faceless, passive, mind-blowing, amazing. And you did it with the AI on my 21-day challenge. That's the plan. That's what it does. It's being launched next week. Come high or hell water. What's that? I don't even know where that's saying from. Is it religious? I have no idea. But that is happening next week. So watch out for that, because it's going to be special. It's going to be epic. And you can have a software as a service product. So anyway, that's it. That's the video. Thanks for watching. I'm Matt Webley. If you want to book a call to have mentorship on this stuff, building an AI SaaS business, then the link's down below. Or just watch out for the 21-day challenge next week. Right, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.